You know that feeling when your phone buzzes and your body reacts before your mind does. A quick tightening in the chest. A small rush. You haven't even seen the message yet, but something inside you already decided it matters. It's strange how fast that happens. How a sound, a red notification, a sudden email can pull you out of whatever you were doing, even when what you were doing mattered more. Even when you promised yourself you wouldn't let it. Most people don't question that reaction. They just follow it. They assume urgency means importance. And it feels so natural that it rarely feels like a choice. But that reaction isn't random. And it didn't start with your phone. I've noticed it in myself in quieter moments. Sitting at my desk, trying to focus on something that actually affects my future. When an inbox refresh pulls my attention away, my hand moves before I think, as if responding quickly says something about who I am. Sometimes I wonder when I learned that. There's a subtle comfort in dealing with urgent things. They ask less of you. They show up loud and clear. They tell you what to do next. Importance doesn't do that. Importance is quiet. It waits. And it doesn't punish you immediately if you ignore it. Psychology reveals that our brains are sensitive to pressure signals. Researchers suggest that urgency activates emotional triggers tied to survival and social belonging. When something demands attention now, the brain reads it as a threat or an opportunity. Either way, it feels safer to respond. You can see this in small, ordinary scenes. Someone replying to a message while a loved one is talking. A manager answering emails late at night while postponing a hard conversation they've been avoiding for months. Even a student obsessing over a minor deadline while quietly drifting away from what they once wanted to become. What's interesting is the internal dialogue we rarely admit. I'll just take care of this real quick. I can get back to the bigger thing later. Later always feels available. Right now never does. I used to believe that being responsive meant being responsible. That staying on top of everything meant I was doing life correctly. Looking back, I'm not sure that belief came from reflection. It felt inherited, absorbed from how everyone else around me moved. Human behavior often copies what looks functional on the surface. Fast replies look productive. Full calendars look important. Stress looks like commitment. Subtle signals get mistaken for value. But here's the quiet contradiction. The things that shape your life the most rarely announce themselves as urgent. They don't vibrate in your pocket. They don't come with reminders. They sit in the background, waiting for space you keep promising to give them. Decision-making becomes distorted when urgency hijacks attention. Cognitive patterns form around relief. You answer the email and feel momentary control. You check the notification and feel included. That relief teaches your brain something. It teaches it what to chase next time. I've caught myself avoiding meaningful work, not because it was hard, but because it was slow. Slow feedback, slow results. No instant signal telling me I was doing it right. Urgent tasks give you that signal immediately. Most people think they procrastinate because they're lazy, but often it's the opposite. They're highly responsive, too responsive to what shouts the loudest. There's a moment that happens almost invisibly. You finish handling something urgent and feel oddly empty, productive, but unsettled, as if you've been busy without moving. That feeling is easy to ignore, so we fill it with the next urgent thing, another message, another task, another small fire to put out. Patterns that shape your life don't usually feel dramatic. They feel reasonable, rational, justified. That's why they're so powerful. And the brain loves patterns it can predict. Urgency offers predictability. Importance offers uncertainty. One asks for speed. The other asks for presence. I sometimes think about how many decisions I've made just to escape the discomfort of choosing what actually matters. Not consciously, quietly, by letting urgency decide for me. That's the part that's uncomfortable to notice. Because once you see it, you start noticing it everywhere. In how people talk, in how workplaces operate, in how entire days disappear without touching the things we claim are important. And that raises a question most of us don't slow down enough to ask. If urgency keeps winning your attention, what keeps losing it? The answer is usually quieter than we expect. It's the conversation you keep postponing because it doesn't have a deadline. The skill you tell yourself you'll practice when things calm down. The feeling you avoid sitting with because nothing forces you to face it today. What makes this tricky is that urgency feels external. It feels like life happening to you. Importance feels internal. It asks you to decide without pressure, and the brain, left on its own, often prefers the illusion of necessity over the responsibility of choice. Researchers suggest that our attention systems evolved to respond to immediate changes in the environment. A sudden noise, a direct demand, a clear signal. In modern life, those signals come from screens instead of forests. But the wiring didn't change. The brain still reacts first and explains later. That explanation usually sounds reasonable. This needs to be done now. I'll think about the bigger stuff afterward. Except afterward keeps getting pushed further away, not by intention, but by habit. I remember realizing this during a normal afternoon. Nothing dramatic. Just noticing how much energy I spent reacting versus deciding. It wasn't that I didn't care about meaningful things. It was that they required a different kind of attention. One that didn't come with adrenaline. Urgency compresses time. Importance stretches it. One makes minutes feel scarce. The other asks you to think in years. And switching between those modes isn't effortless. It requires awareness. Something we rarely practice while moving fast. There's also a social layer we don't talk about much. Responding quickly signals reliability. Delaying what matters most is invisible. No one praises you for protecting quiet priorities. No one sees the decisions you didn't make. So human behavior adapts. We start performing urgency, filling our days with proof that we're needed, that we're busy, that we matter, even when that busyness pulls us away from what would actually change our lives. Most people think stress comes from having too much to do. Sometimes it comes from doing too many things that don't deserve the same level of attention. The mind knows the difference, even when we pretend not to. Psychology reveals something subtle here. The brain confuses immediacy with value because immediacy feels measurable. Importance often isn't. It shows up later, quietly, without applause. That delay makes it harder to trust. So we default to what responds back, what gives feedback, what reduces tension now. But there's a cost that doesn't appear on your calendar. Over time, decisions made under constant urgency shape a life that feels full but slightly misaligned, active but not intentional, efficient but not fulfilled. I'm not saying urgency is wrong. Some things genuinely need immediate attention. The problem is when urgency becomes the filter for everything, when it decides what gets your best energy and what gets whatever is left. That's when days start blending together, when weeks feel productive, but strangely forgettable, when you realize you've been moving constantly without asking where you're going. The unsettling part is that no one forces this pattern on you. It emerges quietly from repeated reactions, from small moments you barely notice, from choosing relief over meaning again and again. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. You start noticing how often your attention jumps before your values do, how often your body reacts before your mind agrees. There's no dramatic turning point here, no instant clarity, just a growing awareness. A pause that lasts a second longer than usual, a moment where you notice what's pulling you and what's waiting. That noticing doesn't solve anything right away, but it changes how the day feels. It creates space between the signal